go home, go hard, go home. Touchdown like the end zone. When the circle turn to my home, can't get me out of my zone. Go hard, go home, go hard, go home. Yeah, these are championship rings on my hands now. In my head I'm top 10, yeah, that's hands down. You a squad, know you're looking man down. Funny how foes turn to friends now. Drive a race car like a Atari now. Call filling up, I need product again. Treat the business like a playground, might slide on you. Don't me wrong, might slide on you. Do a backflip, cause I'm mad rich. I'm the definition of what that is. Go hard, go home, go hard, go home, go hard, go home, go home. Touchdown like the end zone. When the circle turn to my home, can't get me out of my zone. Go hard, go home.
Good evening.
Yes,
Big
sir.
12 Championship week.
Yes, sir.
Well, for us, obviously this podcast is new, but even in our last podcast there, Tim, we've never covered the Big 12 Championship game. This is a first for us.
This is a first, man. It's great to be talking. Like I said Tuesday when we, was discussing college football playoffs. Man, isn't it a delight? It's a delight to be talking Big 12 Championship, possible college football. But again, right now, the main focus, let's get that Big 12 Championship, man, on the way out. Let's complete the mission. The mission is to win the Big 12 Championship, and hopefully, the chips will fall where they may. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. I think, back to your point, it's fun to talk relevant football, meaningful football, and November heading into December. Tomorrow, just under 48 hours from now, 36 hours from now, Texas will be playing in a meaningful December game.
Yeah, man, it's a special time, man. It's been a long time, and I'm excited, man. It's cool to hear about your favorite college football team. It's the topic right now. Can Texas pull it out? Are they going to be able to hold up against the number one rusher in the land? And so yeah, man, it's a good time to be a Texas fan.
Yeah, well, we have a lot to talk about. We've got some special things to happen at the end of the show, and so let's get right to it. Of course, first and foremost, before we do anything, fanbattlesports.com. Join us on fanbattlesports.com for the latest and greatest from the AFC South, Titans, Colts, Texans, as well as Jaguars. Also, from the Longhorns, fanbattlesports.com. Visit us on the site. Shout out to those guys. And, of course, if you're interested, go to the site. We're looking to expand the network. So, please, if you're interested in starting your own podcast from the network, go to fanbattlesports.com. Send us your information. Send us what you're interested in, and we will help you get started. fanbattlesports.com. Follow us on Twitter. Guys, we have reached a new milestone here on Longhorn Fan Battle.
Very impressive.
We wanted to hit 250 by the show this week.
Right.
270. So we're about 20 followers over what we've expected, which is really nice. And for that, we're going to talk later on about what we're going to do for our 250 follow milestone. And as we head into, I guess you could call it the dead period, right? Dead period from a game perspective. Get a couple weeks off before bowl season starts.
Yes, sir.
Transfer portal opens on Monday. Some interesting names in the transfer portal. So we'll talk about that probably towards the end of the show if we have some time. We're going to go into covering the first off season here on Longhorn Fan Battle. Of course, we are all Texas Longhorns all the time. First off, shout out to the women beating up a little brother again tonight. Hook 'em Horns. The women do beat A&M in the first round of the volleyball NCAA tournament. 3-1. So
Yeah.
I believe they lose the
Easy
first
peasy.
game and then come back and win the next 3.
Yep. Shout out to
So-
them. They're looking at possibly making another run. Quick volleyball segment. Texas is ranked number 4 in the nation. They were ranked a little higher, but they had a couple of sputters this year. They didn't go undefeated like they did a couple years back. So yeah, shout out to them. I will be watching for sure. Volleyball is actually college volleyball is actually really great to watch. So if you guys,
It's entertaining.
it's very entertaining. Definitely check it out.
Texas is actually on the verge of getting a really good volleyball player out of the state of Texas in next year's
Okay.
class.
Okay.
I don't remember her name, but she jumps really high.
Is she tall?
No, she's not. She's probably like my height, like 5'8", 5'9".
Well, 5'8", 5'9" for a woman is really tall.
That's pretty tall.
Yeah.
That is pretty tall. Yeah.
Yeah.
She can jump, bro. I saw some videos on TikTok. It just showed up on my timeline, bro. She can jump. It was crazy.
That's crazy.
It was so crazy. So yeah, good luck to them. Continued luck to them. Little brother. We'll see you guys in July. Can't wait.
Yeah.
Little gaming news here. On3 put this out today, and this is no surprise to me and you, but for you guys out there, will be a pleasant surprise. It is now confirmed, official, that NCAA 24 will be out in July of next year. So that'll be summer 24. That is now official word. For those of you that don't know, historically, NCAA football comes out the second week of July, the 7th, 8th, or the 9th, or the 10th, depending on what that Tuesday lands on. That is my birthday week. So for my birthday next year, I'm going to be playing NCAA.
We're going to be playing NCAA football. For y'all that don't necessarily know, listen,
we are going to be playing NCAA.
We have a 10-year dynasty where we've had the same group of guys who have basically collectively been waiting, sharing any type of information that we possibly come across, any insiders that we may know, because we do know some. Me and Harish do know some, but they're pretty tight-lipped on this situation.
I don't know nothing.
But we know people.
We know people. We don't know nothing, though.
Right. Yeah. Let me be very clear. We don't know people that know. Well, I'm lying. We know people, but they won't tell us anything.
Right.
Because I know I've definitely tried, and I've gotten little to nothing.
It is very tight-lipped, but very excited to see. There's some rumors. So if you don't know, Video Game Awards is this weekend.
Yes, sir.
So keep an eye out to see it. I don't think anything comes out there. There are some rumors swirling that we might get some information. College football playoff, whether that be the semifinal, probably the national title game. I would imagine a teaser by then of NCAA. And then usually for those of you guys that are not in the gaming community, not familiar with gaming, you'll start to see a lot of news hit about 90 days before the game comes out. So April 1st. Keep your internets open, because that's when we'll get the most information leading up to the release of the game in July.
Right.
But anyway, I digress. Follow us on Twitter, LH Fan Battle. We've got plenty more to come over the next months. Basketball season just getting started. Texas has a huge matchup with Shaka Smart next Wednesday as Texas plays Marquette in Marquette.
Right.
So we'll definitely be here for that. SEC schedule comes out 2 weeks from today, or 2 weeks from yesterday. So we've got a few teasers on who Texas will play, but the full schedule comes out in a couple weeks, so we'll be here for that. Of course, taking you through baseball season, turn of the calendar, baseball season gets up and rolling.
Yes, sir.
And as that starts off in January, and then we go into Big 12 play for basketball week. Recruiting, first phase ends in a couple weeks, and then we have second phase of recruiting, and then we get right into spring football. So,
and then don't forget, we got the Under Armour All-American game.
Yep, we got the All-American game. Senior Bowl, we'll be watching where these guys – listen, we have potentially 14 guys that are going into the NFL draft this year.
Yeah.
I think it's like 12 of those 14 have been invited to the Senior Bowl.
Right.
Insane numbers, insane work that this coaching staff has done. So Stay tuned here. Longhorn Fan Battle on YouTube as well. Follow us on YouTube. We are now up to 25 subscribers.
Yep.
I just checked.
Joe,
27.
And I want to send a shout out to my man Joe on Twitter. Let me get his name. Parlay Joe.
Yeah.
He has one of the largest college football threads, group chats. It has over like 450 to I think the last time I checked, it's 400 people that are actually in it. But it has over 1,000 bookmarks. So
Nice.
Shout out to Parlay Joe. Talks about if you want to follow him, he talks about all college football. So if you want to get in on that group chat, feel free, send him a message, jump in there. There's a lot of information in that group chat as well. A lot of people in there from all walks of the earth. What's up?
I can't follow Parlay Joe.
Why not?
He has me blocked.
You got blocked by Parlay Joe?
Let me tell you what happened. And I got kicked out of that group chat. Let me tell you what happened. I was having this conversation with this guy. I can't remember if it was about Florida State or A&M or I can't remember. Somebody had lost or something has happened. I was talking to somebody about it. They got upset. Parlay Joe kicked me out and he blocked me on Twitter.
How?
No fault of my own. This is listen, I was being very civil. I said something along the line. Oh, I remember what it was. There's this guy who was obsessed with Florida State. And I was like, dude, Florida State's not that good. Blah, 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 blah. He got mad, kicked me out. I got kicked out of the group chat.
And you know what's
if you want to talk to Parlay Joe and get me back in, I'd really appreciate it.
Parlay Joe follows me, so I'll shoot him a private message. Also, he commented on our podcast on Tuesday. I hope you guys check that out. As we were discussing college football scenarios, the rankings, all of that as it was happening. Yeah, he commented. He said he loved the show and he subscribed.
I can't see it. Here, I will show you. Parlay Joe has our podcast. He has our podcast blocked. Oh, maybe no, he doesn't. I don't know what happened, but I got kicked out of that group chat. But I just followed him on Twitter. So Parlay Joe, I'm sorry for making people upset in the group chat. I was trying to have a legitimate conversation. If I said anybody was dumb, I apologize for being correct.
Oh my gosh, let's move on. Let's talk about this slaughter.
All right. So Texas, for the first time all season, takes care of business. This is what beating a team looks like. Dominating a game. When we talk about playing 60 minutes, exerting your will, not stepping down, not doing what you're supposed to do. This is what it should have looked like against TCU, against Houston, honestly, probably against Kansas State, seeing where we were.
Yep.
Texas wins 57-7.
Mm-hmm.
What are your thoughts?
A complete game. I would say probably the second complete game that I've seen all season. Next to, believe it or not, Alabama. So I was really happy to see, them play a complete game. You want to talk about running the rock? Gosh, I was impressed. The entire running backs group had a great day.
Yep.
Everybody, and I was really happy to see Sark not only just lean on one person, but really get everybody involved very early. You saw CJ Baxter, Cedric Baxter. You saw Blue get in there. You see Keelan looked impressive. That kid is, is he a senior?
Who, Keelan?
Yeah,
Keelan's been in college for like 12 years, dude.
Damn, man, I wish we could have him for another year. He is explosive. Blue. Okay,
love Jaden Blue.
Away from this game, and again, I don't want to talk about it because we all knew what was going to happen. Seeing Blue and Baxter really gave me the reassurance that I needed, and that was what do we have to look forward to then in the future. And they're quickly showing me like we're gonna be okay. Yeah. We're gonna be just fine. Sure. They looked really solid. Both of them, I think Cedric Baxter got over 100 yards.
Nope.
Blue got close. I think he had like 98.
Nope.
Maybe
Cedric Baxter did not have 100 yards. Cedric Baxter only had 45 yards.
Who had 100 yards?
In blue had 100 yards. He
There
had
we go.
100
Okay.
yards on 10
Top of that.
carries, 120 on 10 carries. The guy that I was really impressed with was Trey Wisner, freshman.
Yeah, he looked good. Yeah. Trey looked good too. And Trey got in there around the second half. He looked good.
He got in there
good.
when Arch came to the game. This game was so much fun. We got to finally see Arch Manning. And you know what? It didn't mean a darn thing because Arch's red shirt is not impacted. And
Yeah.
let's just say he plays this week if we're blowing out Oklahoma State. And he can basically play the rest of every game for the rest of the year,
Right.
and his red shirt won't be impacted.
Right.
Because we're in the last 4 games of the season.
Yeah. So
Potentially.
So yeah, I'm really excited to see. I'm really excited about the future. That showed me that again, you get these guys going and active early, they're gonna be just fine. And again, they played a complete game, and I was really happy to see what was happening because I had 35-17 Texas, and they did score in the first quarter or in the first half, I believe. And I thought they'll get these one-offs because it was a decent play where they got the touchdown. It was actually a really good call at the in the goal in the red zone. That doesn't really happen much. They usually get beat over the top deep. So to see them score like that, I was like, okay, this could be a game. But Texas bowed up and showed out, man. So kudos to them. Shout out to the seniors. Shout out to the commissioner being there. Shout out to Jerry Jones being there. Okay. What about Jerry Jones?
I don't care about that.
Shout out to my guy Jerry Jones.
Cool. Woo! Jerry Jones is there. Let's all throw flowers and have a good
Jerry
time.
looked good in it. Jerry looked good in that burnt orange. He's an Arkansas fan.
Yes, that's why Jerry Jones can kiss my ass. I don't care that Jerry Jones was there. He's an Arkansas. No. Listen, we're no longer in the Big 12. Jerry Jones can kiss my ass. He's an Arkansas fan.
He's a Razorback. He did win a national championship with the Razorbacks
like 200 years ago.
I mean, hey, they still won it. But yeah, what were your takeaways?
I thought the defense played very well. I feel like this gives me a preview of what I should expect this week. Of course, first off, Taj Brooks had a couple of good runs against this defense.
Oh, he had some massive runs. Not massive, but he had some decent runs.
He had some good, but at the same token, he still needed 19 carries and still didn't get 100 yards rushing. That tells me how good this defense is, and it kind of sets up for what I expect for this week.
Understood.
So, number one, we should add this to the show because we did not think about this. T'Vondre Sweat was Big 12 Defensive Player of the Year.
Shout out. As he should be.
Byron Murphy wins Defensive Lineman of the Year.
They both had great years.
They both had excellent years.
When have we seen the interior defensive linemen getting shine like this?
It's been like Sean Rogers, like Corey Redding. It's been that long. Maybe, yeah.
Brian Orakpo,
Sergio Kendall. What's his name? Jackson. Did Jackson Jeffcoat win anything?
No,
I don't remember. Jackson Jeffcoat was probably one of the bigger signings we'd had. Oh, shoot, what's his name? Malcolm Brown.
Oh yeah, Malcolm Brown. Yeah, Malcolm Brown. He went all.
He's a beast.
He was a Big 12 All-American Big 12.
Yeah.
So it is nice to see that, and they're not just getting love via the conference. They're getting love on a national level, right?
Yep.
That is one of the shining parts of when these big sports talk radio shows and these big ESPN, Fox Sports, all those guys, when they talk about Texas, they talk about the interior defensive line and how great they've been consistently all year. So yeah, major shout outs to them. They did a damn good job, and let's hope that they continue to do that for a couple more games.
So here are the Big 12 awards that pertain to Texas that matter to us. Let's see. So Byron Murphy, defensive lineman of the year.
Right.
Charles Omenihu. How do we forget about him? But he wasn't interior.
My bad, Charles.
Let's see. Tavondre Sweat, obviously defensive player of the year. First one since Malik Jefferson. It's already been 7 years since Malik Jefferson has been at Texas. That's crazy how fast time is flying.
Yeah.
Feels
like Malik was just here like 3 years ago.
Literally. Anthony Hill obviously wins defensive freshman of the year.
Right.
Let's see. And then we had one more.
I will say
A.D. Mitchell. A.D. Mitchell wins Big 12 Newcomer of the Year.
Yeah.
And then apparently, unless you lose by 42 to Central Florida, you can't win Coach of the Year.
I want to talk about that for just 2 seconds. The Big 12 commissioner or whoever is doing these awards, and I know majority of it, it's like
the coaches vote on the Coach of the Year award.
Vote on it. You got to be an absolute fucking joke. I had to look at the time because YouTube got the thing. You guys are sick, dude. You give, and this is, man, I don't want to make this into something bigger than this, so I'm going to hold my tongue a little bit. But You can't, to fail upwards is nuts, okay? Yeah. Listen, you did lose to South Alabama. Exactly. You were down 18 points to BYU. You were down 18 points, dog. And you get Coach of the Year and you got multiple losses under your belt. Give me a break, dog. Sark should have won that. Sark should have won it.
He'll win. He'll show it this weekend. Listen, if I'm Sark, and we'll talk about this in the Big 12 championship game preview, I'm not punting this week. The punter can go sit down. I ain't punting. 4th and 6, 4th and 8, 4th and 3, 4th. Nah, you're going to get the business all night long. He went all gas, no brakes last week, going for it on 4th down with Arch. Do it again.
It's time to be disrespectful. It's really time to be disrespectful.
You need
it's time.
Put up 70 on this team.
That's what I want to see. Thinking what I'm thinking, dog. We're here. We're here. You need to hang 70 on these guys, man. You need to. It's disrespectful.
Forget the playoff. It's just a blatant disrespect for the season that this team has had. I don't care if Gundy was projected to finish 9th in the conference. The dude lost by 40 to Central Florida. Get out of here with that crap. All right. So, it's college football playoff rankings. Texas obviously comes in 7. Didn't move a lot. Ohio State stays in front of them. We know this. We talked about this a lot on Tuesday. What I do want to talk about is Boo Kerrigan, which it's taken me 2 days to remember that name, and I just call him Boo the Man, the CFP chair. I'm going to play this clip from Anwar Richardson's show. Shout out to Anwar Richardson and Orange Bliss.
Yes, sir. Love Anwar.
And he plays this recording from a press conference after the CFB playoff show. And the question that specifically is around tiebreakers and what do you do? What are you going to do for tiebreakers and all that good stuff? So I'm going to share my screen and play this for you. I want you to listen to it, and then I want to get your immediate reaction after you look at it. Listen to it. So, was this the one? Yep, this is the one. And I think, let me know if you can hear this.
Okay.
Our next question will come from Jeff Schultz with the.
Okay, so I'm going to go back a little bit. All right.
This committee ranked Oregon 5 and Ohio State 6.
Now pay attention.
Thank you very much.
Pay attention to this next question here.
Listen to this.
Pay attention. Go ahead, Aaron. Go ahead.
And our next question will come from Jeff Schultz with the Athletic.
Yes, thank you. Could either one of you give me sort of a sense of the pecking order of criteria that the committee will use next week when determining the top 4? And I know this is a hypothetical, but should Alabama and Texas both finish 12-1, with one spot available. How do you determine which one gets in?
Oof.
Hey, this is Bill. Thank you for asking. Those tiebreaker criteria are not prioritized. So it'll be up to the judgment of each committee member which of the tiebreakers are more important to him or her. There's just no established priority for the tiebreakers. Yeah, and just to add on to that, there's so many great games coming up this weekend. 7 of the 8 teams are playing in conference championship games. And quite frankly, we're all looking forward to watching them. It's been a great year and this season, and we look forward to seeing how it ends up.
Okay, Aaron, stop right there.
So he says, for those of you guys that don't know, he said specifically, and he calls this out, that we have not determined what the tiebreakers are. There's no specific criteria for what the tiebreaker is in a tiebreaker scenario. Each committee member is to come up with this on Sunday if the scenario occurs. So this tells me one of two things. One, the committee, in my mind, the way I see this is the committee assumes that the 4 favorites will win, and so it won't matter. That's what they're kind of thinking. That's the lines that they're thinking. Number 2, if that doesn't happen, then they're going to come into the room Sunday morning between 11 a.m. and we'll be live for this, by the way, 11 a.m. Central Time Sunday morning.
Yes, sir.
And they will then come up with what that criteria will be before announcing what the college football playoff is. So, your thoughts?
We have to take the human element out of this. This is bullshit. This is absolute bullshit. So here's why. Alabama beats Georgia, right? Let's say, hypothetically, Alabama beats Georgia, and let's say they beat them handedly, right? Mm-hmm. So now you got a 12-1 Alabama team, arguably one of the hottest teams in the nation, right? Yep. So you got Alabama, they beat Georgia. You got Texas, let's say Texas, which we both believe, and we'll get to it later, beats Oklahoma State handedly. So now it comes down to, okay, well, Texas beat Alabama. Cool. If Texas beats Alabama and Alabama beats Georgia, Alabama should get in and Texas should get in. Why? Because they're champions of their conference. And that was the whole thing. Remember, it was like, oh, we're going to make this fair. If you win your conference championship, you'll get in. You do this, you get in. Now, let me be very honest with you. And Longhorn fans, y'all may not like this. You may not like what I have to say. But at times in the year, and me and you have had this conversation off air, Harish, where I told you, dog, Alabama looks like they could beat Texas right now. The way that Texas, it doesn't matter what you believe. What I'm saying is that from my eyes, from what I was seeing, Texas was getting through with these close games, and again, they weren't playing complete football. And at one point in time, Alabama was fucking steamrolling everybody. Okay. With that being said, you cannot just go on a whim and just, with tiebreakers, we don't have a tiebreaker. Why didn't y'all think about that? Why wasn't that established when you established the committee? How long has this committee been in effect? Almost 10 years now?
Well, remember, the committee is different every season. So this particular committee, now there's always obviously established criteria. Yeah, it's been about 10 years.
Yeah, it's been about 10 years. There should be rules and guidelines no matter who's in it. It shouldn't matter who's in it. There should be a list, a guideline. And the thing is, because we know that the committee is on constant rotation so that it doesn't get stale.
Right.
That like it's on a rotating committee just to make sure that it doesn't get stale. But at the same time, you can't punish Texas for beating Alabama, because honestly, and I think I mentioned this to you earlier as well. And a lot of people are championing this. If Alabama beats Georgia, Georgia still needs to get in. Are you out of your goddamn mind? Are you out of your mind? Oh,
yeah,
because
there's a couple of theories out there, right? There's if Georgia loses, do they stay? Here's the other thing: if Washington loses, do they stay? If Michigan, listen, if anybody loses and does not win their championship, they don't get in over Texas. Well, if they get in, fine. They don't get in over Texas because here's the thing: I would argue even if Florida State wins, and this is another thing that's come up. If Florida State wins, but let's just say they win by 3, and Texas blows out Oklahoma State. Should Texas get in over Florida State? I would say yes, because here's at the end of the day, the goal of the College Football Committee is to come up with the 4 best teams, not the 4 most deserving teams, the 4 best teams. Also, the argument that Florida State should get in because they won with the backup quarterback, but Texas shouldn't, is ridiculous because Texas has also won games with a backup quarterback. So and they can miss me with that excuse.
And to be fair, even if you want to do this, Texas has played more ranked teams than just about anybody in the top 10 right now.
Yeah.
Like it's Kansas was ranked. Oklahoma was ranked. Kansas State was ranked. Oklahoma State's going to be ranked. Was Houston was ranked when we played Houston. I believe they were top 25. I believe they were like 22. So, like, what? I don't know. You know what? And I'm going to say this. This may piss people off as well. Listen, when it comes to the human element, it's just always been flawed. And I hate to sound like an old man, but goddamn, I would rather deal with the BCS than deal with this bullshit. This is nuts. Because you sent me a message earlier, like, what is it going to take? What is it going to take for Texas to get in? Because you don't even feel like if Texas wins handedly that they're going to get in. And they have one of the toughest.
I just don't know, man. And here's the thing: we'll go through this in our playoff scenarios because I've got the predictor pulled up here. And we'll just go through a couple scenarios that I've thought about. I posted about last week. We'll see where they stand today because I did this before the rankings went out Tuesday. So we'll see what it looks like today. As of right now, Texas has a 48% chance of making the college football playoff. It sits right now as of today. The highest probability is Michigan, obviously, at 93%.
Right.
Oregon at 70%. Florida State 70%. Georgia's at 56%. And Alabama's at 28%. According to Washington is at 26% as well. According to Vegas odds, Vegas believes that Texas is getting to the college football playoff. I think they have the fourth. They have the 4th best odds to get in. Their odds are ahead. Yeah, they're ahead of Washington. They're ahead of Florida State. And it's not by a little bit. I think it's by a lot. Vegas odds, college football. The betting odds right now. Let's see. The betting odds, I think. Oh, here, odds to make the college football playoff.
And to correct myself, Houston was not ranked.
Oh, sorry, 5th. Yeah, 5th best odds to make the college football playoff. They have Wolverines at minus 4,000. They basically think the Wolverines are a lock, right?
Right.
Then they have Georgia. Then they have Oregon, Florida State, and then Texas essentially is their number 5. So,
man, that's really sad to hear, dude. Like, how do you not have a tiebreaker in place already? You know that these powerhouse. Dog, look at some of the schedule. Look at these schedules that these guys are playing.
Well, that's why the argument. I think Texas should cancel all these big games that they play.
What is the point? Go play
There
Rice.
is no point.
Go play Rice. Go play.
Give me Texas State, UTSA, Texas State. I'll go schedule. Somebody in the Big 12. Hey, Baylor, you want to play again? We'll kick your ass every year.
Jeez, it's like what's the point of this? Why set up these big matchups if you're just gonna let the guys get in that don't have the big matchups? Oregon played Alabama, like Alabama State or Alabama something, where they just demolished that team like 81 points. It's like what is the point? And I get it. Texas played Rice. Texas played Wyoming. Wyoming was tough.
Yeah.
Wyoming was not an easy team. Yeah, are they not as big as these other teams? Absolutely. But they're not going to play HBCUs. Might as well. Alabama plays Tennessee Chattanooga late in the season every year. Why?
And they struggled for most of that game, and then they finally pulled out.
Like, what's the point of this?
And then went on to struggle against 6-6 Auburn. But hey.
You know what? If I was UT, and it's crazy because if you think about it, the next couple years, Texas out of conference games are brutal. They play Michigan and they got Miami
and Ohio State.
Like, come on.
I'd cancel all of them.
What's the point? What is the point? You might as well go ahead. You better go get some FCS teams, okay?
Yeah.
You better go play some FBS teams and just play your SEC schedule. Your SEC schedule is gonna be just enough then.
Yeah.
It should. I mean, history has shown that it is enough. The SEC schedule enough. The SEC schedule alone is enough.
You know what? Believe it or not, that Wyoming game could have actually helped Texas if they may have made their conference championship game. They were one game out from making their conference championship game.
That's crazy.
But anyway, so that's currently where we sit today in the college football playoff. That's what Boo Corrigan and his committee thinks. So let's get.
You suck. You suck bad. You really do suck. You suck. The fact that and how many people were in this meeting?
I mean, it's just the media, and then I guess it was two other people, 2 people from the committee.
Oh.
So like, folks from big time media were there. So like your ESPNs.
I am truly flabbergasted. Like, I cannot believe that they actually said that. These are people that make millions of dollars. Guys, these are athletic directors of schools. These aren't officials. These aren't former players. These are athletic directors. These guys have their school's programs in their hands. And they didn't think to like come up with a tiebreaker.
I don't know, man. Shit's crazy.
How does that even make sense?
It's really crazy how this has ended up working out. But listen, all Texas can do is take care of their business on Saturday, and then just see where the cookie crumbles. I mean, that's really all they can do at this point. By the way, real quick, as we're discussing, Texas basketball is down 42-38 to Texas State, 42-41 to Texas State. So we'll keep you guys
1 point. Just 1 point.
Well, they were just up by 10. So.
Oh, damn.
They gave up a 10-point lead. Now they're down by 1. So, but anyway, I digress. Big 12 championship game preview. So, I'm actually very excited. I get to go to this game. I've never been to a Big 12 championship game before. There's not like there's been a lot of opportunity for me to go in the past. So, very excited to go to the last one. Obviously, Ollie Gordon is the big focus, right? He's the focal point of the offense.
Absolutely.
I heard Mike Gundy's presser earlier this week. What, if anything besides Ollie Gordon, what is there? Who should we be focused on this Oklahoma State team? Offensively, who should the defense be focused on offensively from the Oklahoma State team?
They have a wide receiver that has come on recently. I forget his name.
Presley, I think is his name. Something Presley.
Yeah. He has come on. He had a 100-yard game last week. And he's a big receiver. I want to say his name.
Brennan Presley.
Presley. Brennan Presley. I was gonna say Brandon Presley, but it's Brennan Presley.
Yeah.
And he's not a big receiver. He plays big. He's a smaller guy. He's probably about 5'8", 5'9", but he plays big. He can go and get the ball. If you put it up high, he can go and get it up high. He can run. He kind of reminds me of, I don't like a Tyreek Hill, maybe not as fast, but like they motion him around a lot. He's on kickoff return. He's on punt return. He's pretty much everywhere. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
That's gonna be a task for Oklahoma State, because Oklahoma State are going up against Texas corners, and Texas has big corners. Not only are they big, but they can also move as well. They also have speed, so they can keep up with Presley. So I'm gonna see. I expect to see a lot of screens. I expect to see a lot of rub routes, a lot of slants, things like that. So that's what I expect to see coming from Oklahoma State. Of course, we all know what they're going to try to do first. They're going to try to run the rock. And you tweeted out something that I completely forgot about, and that was my bad on this. Back a couple of months ago, I mentioned that Oklahoma State was going to win, or was going to be in a Big 12 championship, or that they had a really, really good chance because of what their schedule looked like. They played one team in Texas, and that was the University of Houston. Everything else they avoided. They didn't play Baylor. They didn't play Texas. They didn't play TCU. Which I honestly believe would have been losses, right?
I think one of those or two of those would have been losses for sure.
Yeah, for sure. I think if they go against TCU, I think they lose. I think if they go against, they play Texas earlier in the year, I think that's a loss as well. So, they avoided. I don't know how they did that. The scheduling was really off for them, but they had the easiest path to the Big 12 championship, right?
Oh, it's very intentional. It was very intentional, their schedule.
You think so?
Oh yeah, 100%. Listen, they weren't who after Texas and Oklahoma. Who does the conference like? Oklahoma State.
Oh, okay, all right, that makes sense.
They just gave a guy who lost 45-3 to 5-7 UCF the coach of the year.
Yeah, I still don't understand that. So yeah. Do we want to? What are your takeaways from this? What are your predictions? What do you think?
Well, I want to make sure we don't allow Alan Bowman. For those of you guys that don't remember Alan Bowman is the guy that did the horns down when Texas went to Tech. What was that? 3 years? Not last year, but 2 years before that. The Ellinger comeback.
Yeah,
he's the guy that did the horns down when they went out 56-41, and then they didn't score another point. So I really hope they again put this guy back in his place.
Right.
Texas. What I don't want to happen is they turn him into a slant merchant, which is what Rocco did for Iowa State. They kept getting these slants up. I'm very interested to see how Manny Muhammad plays this game. I expect him to play a lot. He was very good last week. I expect him to continue to play a lot. Hopefully Ryan Watts is healthy, because we are going to need his length. Tackling's going to be important.
I like to also mention one thing about that Texas Tech game. They played a lot of man.
Yeah,
they played a lot. They let them corners jam those guys at the line.
Yep.
And
that was beautiful.
That is what they
we've been
did.
asking for.
That's what they did to get here.
That's what we've been asking for.
That's bro. They manned up.
Yeah.
And that was it. Your guys are on our guys. Let's see what you can do.
Go figure it out. Yeah.
And when you got a defensive line that can get pressure, right, when you get a defensive line that can get pressures like that, especially up the middle, it makes it easier for these defensive backs because they know for a fact, like, all I got to do is lock my man up and my defensive line is going to handle it. I don't have to worry about my linebackers. You don't have to worry about your linebackers blitzing because your defensive line can control the tempo. They can control the line of scrimmage. If they're able to do that, this is a runaway.
I expect Alan Bowman to struggle again. He's 10 touchdowns, 11 interceptions in the year.
Right.
There are turnovers to be had in this game. I was trying to see how many fumbles he had. It's so hard to find a fumble stat for quarterbacks.
Right.
But he's been sacked times. He does get sacked.
They usually count turnovers as interceptions, fumbles, things of that nature. So, yeah, it's going to be hard to find. Do you have a prediction score-wise?
56-10.
Whoo!
I'm done playing these games with these teams. Steve Sarkisian's going to send a message on Saturday. I'm going to see that message live, and I can't wait to see it. I think it's going to be like 56-10.
My score for this game is going to be 20, Oklahoma State 20, Texas 40.
Okay. That's a 3-possession game. I mean, that's
I think Texas, I think Oklahoma State, I think they got off to a good start, where they may get a touchdown or two in the first half, and then I think from that point on, it's going to be a bloodbath.
Yeah, I don't see that at all. I think Sark is finally in this mindset. He talked about killer instinct last week. When you when you talk about Mortal Kombat and you talk about finish him, I think that's what's going to happen this week. I think it's going to be that bad.
Right. Yeah, I think we're going to see a lot of the same.
Yeah.
This from last week.
I said last week. It said 49-7. I was off by 8 points.
Right.
So I'm feeling pretty confident right now. I still think Ollie Gordon gets 100 yards and a touchdown.
You think Ollie gets 100?
Yeah, I think Ollie's better than Taj Brooks.
Is Ollie the best back that we've seen all year?
Yes.
Okay. And Texas has played some pretty good running backs.
They played good running backs. I don't think they played great running. I think Ollie's probably a great running back.
Okay.
I think he's really good.
Okay.
Taj Brooks last week was the best running back we played all week, and we pretty much shut him down.
Yeah.
But I think Ollie Gordon is better than Taj Brooks. I think Ollie Gordon's probably like a third round pick.
I think Ollie Gordon might work his way into top second half. I would not be surprised.
Yeah. I think he might find his way up. It just depends on who's looking for running backs.
Right.
Yeah, I could definitely see him be a day 2 pick for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
All righty, Tim. Let's play real quick. Let's play some scenario. Let's play scenario games. So I'm gonna present these scenarios and I posted these on Monday, but that was before the rankings came out at that time. I'm gonna repost them. We're gonna go through them here live, and I'm gonna pull them up.
Okay.
With the current situation here. Let me see. Let me find it. I believe it was Monday. Yeah, 27th was Monday. All right. So I'm going to share my screen here real quick. We're going to go through each one of these scenarios, and based on where we are today, we're going to see where Texas could fall, because I think these are probably the three main scenarios where I think Texas can get in.
Mm-hmm.
So let's just kind of see how this kind of plays out with these scenarios. So scenario number 1, you would have Georgia winning And by the way, I think this is the easiest road for Texas.
Okay.
Louisville wins.
Okay.
Michigan wins. Texas wins. And Oregon wins. In this scenario, if these 4 teams win, according to ESPN, I'm not saying this is what the committee does. Please don't. We know how stupid this committee is, so we don't really know what they're going to do, right?
Right.
These would be the 4 teams that get into the college football playoff.
Holy shit.
Based on that scenario, based on the percentages, based on where we are right now, Texas would get in as a 4 seed, and they play Georgia. And I don't know if you saw, but if Georgia were to play Texas in the semifinals, Georgia would be a 7-point favorite, which is actually not bad.
Right. Okay.
I think they're about a 5.5-point favorite over Alabama right now.
Okay.
So that's scenario 1. And there's an 8% likelihood of this happening, by the way.
Okay.
Scenario number 2 is Alabama winning, Florida State winning. This is one that it's interesting. Alabama, Florida State, Texas, and I mean, really, everyone is just pick them, right? Because whoever wins that game's getting in. In this scenario, these would be your 4 teams.
Wow.
So this basically tells you, based on
All the
ESPN rankings,
that's all the favorites.
no, it's not. This basically tells you that if Georgia loses, if Alabama wins,
Right.
it's
Alabama.
still not good enough for them to get into the. Nobody from the SEC makes it.
That's not going to happen.
There's a 22% chance, according to ESPN's polls. That's what's going to happen in this scenario. Now, does it play out like this? No, I think Georgia Alabama would probably find themselves in. Now, what becomes interesting is what happens to Florida State, Georgia, and Texas. I think Florida State gets knocked out in this scenario.
Right.
And a winner would have to be decided between Georgia and Texas. And that's not a scenario I want Texas to be in. But according to this, no SEC team gets in. That's actually changed by a little bit in this scenario. So, actually, no, it hasn't changed at all. It's basically the same probability. So, 28% chance, 43% or 57% chance Texas gets in. So that's scenario 2.
Right.
Scenario 3 is just chaos, right?
Yeah.
I don't think this is going to happen, but this is if utter chaos happens, right? That is Alabama, Florida State, Iowa, Texas, and Washington. This is probably the wildest scenario I can come up with. In this scenario, Washington gets in as the 1 seed. Florida State gets in as the 2 seed. Texas becomes the 3 seed and plays Florida State, and Alabama gets in as the 4 seed. There is not one scenario that has this team down here in the college football playoff. I bring this up to say, don't let the fact that Ohio State is ahead of us trip you up. It is there as a placeholder.
Right.
It is there as a placeholder because any combination of this that occurs, really, this is the only thing that can happen for Ohio State to get in, right?
Right.
Georgia, Louisville, Iowa and Louisville would have to win for Ohio State to even have a shot.
Yeah. Okay.
There is a less than 1% chance that happens. Now, I'm not saying, listen, we've seen crazier things before. But that's basically what happened. That's basically how unlikely it is that Ohio State gets in. Again, I wouldn't pay too much attention. This is just ESPN crap that they put up there. Apparently they don't watch as much football as the committee, so we shouldn't worry about what they do. But
the committee doesn't watch football like they say they do. That's bullshit. They don't
they won't even be awake to it. They're all too long.
They don't even watch football together. I learned that over the last couple of months. They don't even watch football together. They don't watch as a group collectively. They do not watch football together.
Like they don't watch the games together?
No, not at all. They don't even come together to watch games. It only happens once or twice a year where they come in and they actually watch all of the games together.
I'll probably do that this weekend.
They have to this weekend.
You would hope so.
They have to.
Because they got to come up with the tiebreaker scenario. There will be a tiebreaker scenario. I promise you this. There will be tiebreaker scenarios. But that's just a little fun thing. Finally, last but not least, Tim, who do you have for your champions this week?
I think Georgia pulls it out. I think Michigan pulls it out as well. There is a situation with Iowa. I mean, a situation with what's the name of that company? I mean, not the company. What's the name of it? Florida State and Louisville.
Okay.
I don't know how that is. That's a big game. I think Louisville could pull that out. Of course, I think Texas is going to win. And then another situation with what's our last one? What's that last one?
Oregon, Washington.
ACC, Oregon. I think Oregon pulls it out. I mean, they look like they're kind of just steamrolling people right now. So I think that's the situation where we're at right now. I think those are the guys that pull it out.
Yep. I would agree with you there. I'm going to say that Georgia beats Alabama, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think Louisville beats Florida State. And
Okay.
here's the reason why. Look, as bad as Louisville was last week, I think that's a game that they looked ahead way too soon. And from what I've seen, Louisville's actually a solid defense, especially against the run. And Florida State
shouldn't have lost.
Yeah. No, they shouldn't have. And I think they're just overlooking, right? Florida State is going to need Benson to run really well. And I don't think he's going to be able to, which puts Tate Rodemaker in a situation to win that game for them, and he's not going to be able to.
Right.
I see this Louisville Florida State game probably going about the same as the Texas Oklahoma State game, but just at a much lower score. Like I could see Louisville winning this game ugly, like 20-13.
Yeah, it might be.
They're not very good either, right?
Listen, you got what is it? That's a true freshman Florida State's quarterback right now.
I think he's like a redshirt freshman, but it was really the first time he's played.
Right. In his first game, really, his first true test is going to be in a championship scenario. I mean, don't get me wrong. Florida State's defense could step up. They've been really, really decent at times.
Yeah.
That can
Rodemaker is a redshirt junior.
Oh wow.
But really his first time playing. Apparently, they have this guy named Brock Glenn who's supposed to be the next guy up when Jordan Travis leaves. That's the third shooting right now. Apparently, he's pretty good. So keep an eye out on Trey Benson. If Trey Benson's not able to run the ball, starting running back for Florida State, I think they're going to be in trouble. And Louisville has an opportunity because everybody's doubting them, except your boy right here. I don't doubt Louisville. That's my boy. Those are my boys.
Louisville. Come on, Louisville.
I think Michigan. I'm not even going to watch Michigan Iowa.
I'm gonna watch it just for the sake of Iowa they do traditionally have really good defenses, and I want to see I want to see that first half of Michigan versus Iowa. We all know that they have their own thing with Harbaugh, and that'll be his first game back. So we all know how that's going, So yeah, I'll be looking forward to seeing how that goes.
So I'm looking at this video, and Pat McAfee is torn in this Michigan versus Iowa game. I don't know if you saw Pat McAfee today, but it's
Yeah,
just a little
yeah, I did.
thumbnail. I
Pat
think
be
Michigan,
knowing. Pat
I think Michigan's
Pat be
going
knowing.
to blow out. He's good. I like Pat, and he's entertaining.
And he's a former Colt.
And he's a former Colt. Go Colts! We're actually in the playoff picture right now. I predicted us to win. Predicted us to win 6 games all year. We've already won 6 games. So shows you how much I know.
That's good.
Yeah, it's awesome. Shane Steichen, Coach of the Year. By the way, all with the backup quarterback. And then I have Oregon boat racing Washington. I don't think that game's gonna be close. I don't think Washington's good. I don't. I think Washington reminds me a lot of last year's TCU. They've gotten away. Talk about teams that don't win big, right?
Right.
Washington's a team that can't win for shit. They haven't beaten
they struggle. I would say the last
anybody by any decent. Washington is only where they are because they're undefeated.
They have really struggled at times. Again, they struggled against Arizona. They struggled against Arizona State. The Stanford game, that was an ugly game. They've got
struggled against everybody.
Yeah. They got some real holes. They got some defensive things that they need to carry out. I just don't have trust in Washington's defense like I have trust in Oregon's offense.
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
Like I would not be surprised if Oregon won like 40-20 or 42-21, something like that. That wouldn't shock me at all. I think Washington beating Oregon early in the season. I think Oregon made more mistakes than Washington actually won that game.
Right.
I remember watching that game. That was a really good game. But I think Oregon's gonna, and it's just kind of one of those mindset things, right? We know why we messed this up. We'll fix it. Don't worry about us. We're good. Yeah. It's what I wanted for Texas and Oklahoma, right? If we would have played Oklahoma, I thought we'd win by 2 touchdowns. Simply because they'll be like, hey, don't worry about what happened the first time. It ain't gonna happen again.
Right. And I think Texas would have put more of an emphasis on throwing the ball, or not throwing the ball, but running the ball down Oklahoma's throat, because they have been getting,
I agree with that.
Since that Texas game, and Texas did well on running the ball against Oklahoma, they have been getting gashed, and they've been getting gashed by bad teams.
Yep.
So I think Texas would have definitely had an opportunity to make some noise on the ground, especially if they had an opportunity to play them again.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's kind of how I see this playing out. By the way, score update: Texas now up 12 with 5 minutes to go, 68-52 with 5:21 to go. So just so that you have that there for you. Finally, let's talk about this giveaway real quick. So I'll post this on Twitter. I'm still working out the scenario for how to get it done. I just heard back from my contact, and I'll reach out to him. But we're going to do a giveaway. We'll probably do it on the show next Thursday. We wanted to do it today, but we're just having some technical difficulties on how to get this done. We've never done this before. $50 to Fanatics is what we're going to do. So we'll give that away next week. You know, hey, use it on Texas. Use it on your favorite team. If you're a Cowboys fan, go use it on them as they take their way on to the playoffs there. If you're a fan of any team, go get you some swag.
Get yourself something nice for Christmas, man.
Yeah, go get yourself something nice for Christmas. The Longhorn Fan Battle Network and the Fan Battle Network. So I'll post details on Twitter. Again, follow us on Twitter, Longhorns Fan Battle. You'll have all the details there, how to enter, what to do to enter, and we will do the drawing live on this show next week, which will be next Thursday.
Right.
All right, Tim, before we get out of here, tell the people about yourself.
Hey, man, follow me at Tim Wayne, as you see scrolling across the ticker. Make sure you follow us on Longhorn Fan Battle again. Make sure you guys like, share, comment, and subscribe on YouTube as well. We like to see those comments in the YouTube channels. But yeah, you can find me on Twitter. That's where I do my main source of communicating. Feel free to hit me up, man. Let's chat. and let's have a good time. It doesn't matter if you're a Longhorn fan or Ohio State fan, man. Let's talk football, man. Let's have a good time.
Awesome. And you can find me on Twitter at Gandhi. Of course, I run the Longhorn Fan Battle Network Twitter channel. Find me on there. And find us on Monday nights, AFC South Fan Battle Podcast. Tuesday nights at the Colts, the Horseshoe Mob Podcast. And yeah, that's where I am. Listen, guys, it's been fun covering this team this season.
Absolutely.
Really cool to cut our first full season together. You know, like we've done this in the past, but we kind of cut it off mid-season due to different situations. This is our first full season together. We hope to have more. We'll be here in the off season. But until then, if you're going to the game, be careful, be safe. I'll be there. I know Tim's still trying to get there. We'll be there for sure. Hit us up on Twitter if you'll be there. You want to meet up? We definitely want to meet up with you guys, and we look forward to meeting you guys. So between now and then, my name is Harish. That's my guy Tim Wayne.
Yes, sir.
Welcome, Lawrence.
Till Gabriel.
Till Gandhi.
Go home. Touchdown like the end zone. When the circle turn to my home, can't get me out of my zone. Go hard, go home.